All right, guys, welcome back. We are going now into game number 4, RagnaroK against Trap. I think I might actually be in the minority of people that voted for Trap this time around.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you compare the two players, historically, or not historically, but recently, RagnaroK has been the stronger player. Especially because we've seen so much more of RagnaroK in Legacy of the Void, and he has produced results. He has been doing very well in the SSL. Trap, meanwhile, not really making it in any individual league, so yeah, we just have to see how Trap plays this game out more than RagnaroK.
RagnaroK 5-3 against Trap, so they've both taken games off of each other here. We are going to be going into our map in a second here, guys. Don't forget to tell your friends to join us here at the SPL. And wow, it was actually more down the middle than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. All right, cool. Well, let's see what actually happens now. Again, these guys an even match. If Trap can win this, it's the end, and Engineer Green Wings gets the win. In the bottom right, our Protoss player in the green. No, in the upper left, our Zerg player in the yellow is RagnaroK. And in the bottom right, in the green, it is Trap.
Have you gotten used to the fact that Pro League and GSL are much different in terms of the introductions yet, or still getting used to it?
No, I pretty much got it, I think.
Yeah.
I think I got this down.
I do love the GSL introductions, though, with that Zero tool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool,
That's pretty cool.
I mean, Bunnies, I think Bunnies is the best. Bunny.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what these guys have in store for us here.
Nexus first.
So this is a little bit different from what we've seen, and this is actually very good, at least so far for starts against the way that RagnaroK's opening. I mean, you can get this Nexus out right away. This is not the safest thing to do.
No, you can easily get punished by an early pull speedling build, but luckily for Trap, his opponent, RagnaroK, is going for that hatch first, followed by that pull and gas, so...
Also note how he scouted with that probe over there to the center right to see for the Overlord.
Yep. And we mentioned that before in that TVZ reality against Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are like nuances that you see in top level play where just the scouting patterns to see where the Overlords are.
There's so much more refined and mapped out. Now, for Zerg, he went 2-hatch pool, 3rd hatch. So, you know, that's something to take note of. If Zerg had gone 3 hatches, it'd be even better. You know, 3 hatch before pull because you can get some more drones out there. But the follow-up to this is actually getting 2 gateways and a cybernetics core. So it looks like actually Trap wants to go for some kind of maybe adept play pushing out here, I would assume at least.
Well, he is getting that early Zealot out, so that Zealot's only going to serve a purpose of blocking that choke point if Zerglings do come in and try and like do a run by, but at the moment it looks like RagnaroK is just content getting that speed out, getting those drones main-arted over to that expansion, and yet we see their death now. This
is where I kind of get that whole feel of Trap is sort of like SOS Junior. Like this looks like some kind of weird build that SOS might do, right? And it's interesting because, like, for instance, I haven't really casted a game. I've been casting a lot of Starcraft 2. I actually don't think anybody's casted as much Starcraft 2 and Legacy of the Void as me right now. And I haven't really seen a game like this.
Yes.
With an opener.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of you guys haven't quite seen an opener like this. This is probably going to really spark your mind and make you think a lot on how to approach the game. But it seems like he can just do this double adept build. Like, we used to see Protosses do this on 1 base. Now this guy's going to do it on 2. I'm sorry, where's the Zealot?
Where is this Zealot?
Where the hell is the Zealot?
I'll check right now. I think he cancelled it because he saw the Cybernetics core was going to finish up, and he didn't see Zerglings come out. So.
Okay, that explains it.
Also, what I like about the build was that with that second Nexus, he can invest that second Chrono boost onto the gateway to get those Adepts out quicker. So
that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Nice subtle touch there from
I wouldn't. At first I was like, oh, that's weird. Did he send the Zealot with the Adept? I don't see that on the mini-map.
But he just cancelled it, so yeah. That's another subtle thing that we see from the top players here in Korea. Is that
really refined builds with proper cancels and micro adjustments to their style of play so that they can come out with the most optimized approach here. So he peeks in, very standard to do with the double Adept opening. Although normally when we see PvZ, the double Adept opening was off one base. So the game's already changed a lot here. And it's going to be 3 Nexus, man. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but he knows that the Zerg can't really do much about it because he's got this ramp sealed up quite tightly, and with the new Lerilak Crest that came out, there's the destructible rocks there at the choke point, and it's going to take a while for the Zerg to break through that if he decides to. So he's also got that Phoenix as well, so you can see what the Zerg is doing. He can adapt appropriately to what he's doing.
And take out these Overlords, right?
Yes.
So it's harder to tell. Is he going to mass gate? When is he going to do that? Now, it is one thing that we definitely have to note here is that the Overlord at the bottom center did spot the third base. So RagnaroK is at least aware of what Trap is doing.
Yeah, and if RagnaroK decides to take a 4th base, those Adepts that have been sitting around the map so far can just snipe the drone pretty easily if he's active about it. But these Adepts actually shade into the expansion of RagnaroK, doing a bit of damage there, but these Zerglings, I think they're going to shade away in time.
I think at least one will be able to shade into the base. And from here, he can at least start to see, okay, like how far along is the layer? All these important questions are going to be answered. Going to be able to harass a few drones here. It looks like good control there by RagnaroK.
Cancelling that, I think he was just trying to save that drone there rather than actually building another Spore Crawler. As we see a lot of Phoenixes here from Trap. Looks like he's trying to power off these 3 bases, get those probes up at the expansion. As we see RagnaroK not really thinking of taking a 4th base right now, so...
Yeah, so far, so good here. We have Warp Prism chronoing out here as he just tries to use these Phoenixes and take out as many of the Overlords as possible. I like this play. Also a hidden pylon over here. This may be because he suspects that's where the 4th base is going to be. Might be able to warp in some harass over there. It also could be an indicator that we're going to have a pretty strong push coming up here. Can you actually check on the mini-map? Does the top Overlord see that pylon down there at the bottom?
No. It does not.
It does not. Okay.
Sorry. Yep, okay. So yeah, these Phoenixes actually doing a lot of damage, and Trap is ahead in supply right now, and this is not
pretty
what
wild,
you
right?
want as a Zerg player, is to be behind on supply, especially being Overlord stuck as supply blocked. Not really what you want to do.
Yeah, no, you're certainly right. I mean, this harass is already starting to be pretty strong here, and we have warp-ins right now for Adepts, and we're in the phase of the game where this actually can still do a lot of damage to the Zerg. Even though the Zerg's on 3 base, he's been pumping for a while. The combination of the Phoenixes and the Adepts coming in here and possibly mass warping in, let's see how much damage this actually does.
As you see these Adepts being dropped in at the 3rd base, those Hydralisks are trying to chip away. That Warp Prism, a nice lift up there from Trap, takes that Hydra. Ooh, nice pick off there with that Phoenix. And we see that Overseer that was at the Overlord being morphed to an Overseer that was sitting at the bottom of the map. Gonna scout what Trap's doing, and if RagnaroK is privy to the fact that Trap is cutting probes, then he might have to adapt as appropriately.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, well, he might, I don't know if he's going to need to cut probes here. I think he's, like, basically done, right?
Yeah,
he's like 69. Yeah, and so that's sometimes a good time to stop. So what he's going to do now is he's just going to pump Immortals. He's going to make gates. He's kind of finishing up all of his tech. And if you note, he's actually doing a good job of kind of keeping the pressure on. He has his Warp Prism. Didn't exactly do a lot, but you don't need to get Immortals out right away, especially if they're going for Hydras. So he just gets that Adept out and kind of makes this pressure, and it sort of gets Zerg on its back foot early on while you're getting all these different great techs. And then from there, he does get his Immortals. He does start to get, you know, the upgrades on the Zealot legs, Storm, plus to attack, the whole deal.
Like, what I love about Trap's play is that he has a lot of avenues to force pressure on the map onto RagnaroK. He's got those Phoenixes, he's got that War Prism, he's got this army in the middle of the map. 3 ways of putting pressure onto RagnaroK, and RagnaroK, it's going to be really hard for him to deal with all this, but Nidus play here.
I was going to say, you know, GTR, before this Nidus play starts up, I mean, his whole build has sort of been a pressure play, right? It's sort of been a massive pressure play, but RagnaroK, kind of being RagnaroK since he's come out this far, he has a lot of cheeses up his sleeves, and he's doing a double Nidus play here. And he's going to have lurkers coming and hitting the front over here, but he has another opportunity to come hit this as well. And this is actually pretty smart. I like what I'm seeing right here. Meanwhile, Link's coming into the play. The question right now is, can Trap survive this attack?
I think he should have sniped that robotics facility there, because without those observers, there's no way he's going to deal with those lurkers unless he gets the Oracle to tag. But nice damage there from those lurkers onto the army of Trap. Let's see how Trap deals with this pressure.
Kind of an insane attack. It's like everything's being hit everywhere. We have some good force fields coming up there, a decent number of roaches over here, some pickups trying to nullify this, but this lurker push with the roaches is pretty terrifying. Nice tagging there on the bro roaches.
But I think he needed to use those Phoenixes to lift up these lurkers. These lurkers are just doing way too much damage right now. But these Immortals are picking off these lurkers. We'll see how Trap deals with this.
How many more pickups does he have? He's doing a great job picking up right now. And the lurkers are getting gunned down. Back into the Nidus they go. But a switch here in strategies. Very nicely done. Trap takes out the Nidus network.
Yeah, I think RagnaroK had to fall back right now. He's got that fourth base secured though. But this might be an opportunity for Trap to do a counter-attack.
He's losing too many lurkers, I think.
Yeah,
here.
I think this might be a counter-attack opportunity for Trap here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just about spent all of his ability to actually do any harass here. Worker count, by the way, 73 for Zerg, 57 for Trap, excuse me. And, I mean, so granted, yeah, Trap did lose some workers there. However, I think the sophistication for army types definitely does go to Trap right now. I think he should actually go ahead and try to push across here as soon as he possibly can.
For sure, like in that attack, I think what RagnaroK wanted to do was to finish the game off, but he lost so many lurkers here in that attack, and he has none morphing right now, and he needs those lurkers to help defend from any potential counterattacks. As we see this Warp Prism here, going to do a lot of damage because there's not really that many units out for RagnaroK here.
Yeah, we see unloading over here in the main. Now this should be to just kind of pull the army back. Although interestingly enough, I actually don't see Trap really doing a counterattack.
Yeah, he has the advantage right now, but it's not pushing.
Yeah, he really does. He has a much stronger army, like an insanely stronger army. Especially you consider that Zerg has more workers right now, and Trap is still in the army lead. I guess he's just really apprehensive about counterattacks, but I mean, we have the option, we have the fortune of being omnipotent here and being able to see everything inside the game, so maybe that's more clear to us than it is for Trap. Trap now gathering up. He does have Templars, by the way. Yeah. This is going to be pretty scary. I think this fourth base is going to be under serious threat.
Yeah, those Templars are going to be really useful for defending those Zerglings, and also any lurkers that come out joining this army here at the middle. Is a nice tag there from Trap, knowing where those lurkers are, seeing when those lurkers will move out if he decides to go for this fourth base.
So the supply here for RagnaroK, he started to catch up. Still doing a good job of just keeping everything marked and spotted. He's also going ahead and making a Nexus here in the center right.
Oh, he might slump this off with these Zerglings. Let's see if he cancels it in time. Getting some nice surface area into that Nexus, and he forces to cancel there. Nice move there from RagnaroK, and just move back.
Okay, so he does force a cancel there. It's kind of funny because I think Trap has a brilliant, really nice army, but he does not seem to have the mobility to kind of cover everything.
Yeah, he's trying to use these Phoenixes to stop any drops here. Or I think this drop's going to be sniffed out. That Overlord's way too slow there. And he's got lost both lurkers there. That's really bad.
Another attack over there. The Nexus canceled. It will again be remade. Yeah,
as long as RagnaroK keeps forcing that base to cancel, he's still in this game because he's got that fourth base now. But the thing is,
but I gotta say though, I mean, the Protoss's army it's like this is the army he was trying to get the whole time, right? So I think there might be a more sophisticated army here from Protoss. There's 13 lurkers, which is pretty damn scary right now. But the rest of the Zerg army is mostly Lings here.
Yeah, this is basically the death ball that you want against this composition. You got those Archons to soak up those Zerglings that might try to flank you, and got those Immortals to do the big damage against those lurkers. Besides Tempest and a nice run by here.
Firing squad. Storm's actually zoning those Lings back.
He might be just trying to sack these Zerglings, to be honest. See how much damage he can do. If he snipes that Templar Archives, no, he's just gonna auto-fire get the cannon.
He's not gonna get much of anything, it looks like here. We'll and also, he did make him bounce off of him over there in the center right.
Yeah. So we'll see what he reinvests that supply that he used up with those Zerglings on.
I do like the 2 extra star ports here.
He's getting Void Rays, actually. Quite an interesting tech choice. We rarely see Void Rays these days in Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Let's see. Let's see as the game goes on. I'm excited to learn something if this is going to really teach me how to view this matchup differently. Protoss is still kind of shimmying around the map here. And he is actually going to try to get this base up and set up. And by the way, if he gets that base at the top right, he could actually push the top center like so easy.
Yeah, because like that pylon is there to warp in as well. So
now he's continuing to use these lings to try to fork out. But at this point in time, we're late enough in the game where Protoss kind of has defense everywhere.
Oh, but he sees the Void Rays though. Actually, did he see pop? I'm not sure.
He should have seen that.
Yeah,
he should have seen the animation, assuming that he was looking over there.
But he's definitely going to see it right here. I mean, he's going to see 3 Stargates, and he's like, yeah, these are more Phoenixes or Tempests, but then he sees the Void Rays, and he can accommodate his build as appropriately once he sees those Void Rays.
Okay, nice warp-ins over here for the Protoss. He needs to get rid of these lings. Zerg is going to make a beeline right up here. I don't see, where's the Protoss main army, actually?
The main
I don't see it moving on the map.
Here.
Okay, he's got to be more careful, I think, with that main army.
Well, the thing is, those lurkers are still sitting there at the 4th base. I think in this situation, RagnaroK needs to move that army and try to trap, no pun intended there, the army of Trap coming up here. But it looks like...
you might be right. I think what actually Trap needs to do is just take out this base over here and then get nothing but cannons and Templars at that base in the upper right, and then try to start pushing in and taking, play the whack-a-mole game.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a split map situation here, splitting the map between the left side of RagnaroK and the right side of Trap. And it's really interesting to see, especially in these cross spawns, that they're going to split the map vertically. Most of the time, we honestly see it quite go horizontally on this map.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to actually get in a spot like this. That was a good storm.
Yep.
That was Storm of the Year, guys. You saw it right there. The best storm we've had in in Pro League by far. Going for the pylon. He can actually force field on top of this if he wants to. Okay, he needs to get mass cannons at that top right base. And then he needs to push down here at the bottom left.
Yep. So that 5th base is completed for RagnaroK there. And it looks like Trap doesn't want any of this. He's going to try and make a beeline there, but actually goes for the upper ground. These Void Rays picking off these creep tumors, and you don't want to be...
This is kind of a funny push here.
Yeah, you don't want to be walking into those lurkers, Trap.
Well, I think he just wants to storm. I think he actually, with this many Immortals activating the shields here, yeah, this is actually exactly what he wants to do. He wants to come right in here. He's going to get right on top of those Brood Lords, losing a couple of these Templars here due to that splash damage. And he's like right there with those Void Rays on that. This is actually the craziest timing, man.
Yeah, these
really smart move. I mean, he really understood the tech. Damn.
Like, I think if he waited too long for those Brood Lords to morph, there was no way he was going to break through. But he saw that window of opportunity.
GG! Trap has done it. SOS Junior. We're in the SOS Daddy Pants today.
Nice build there from Trap. I was really impressed with what he mapped that game out pretty much perfectly.
He had a little bit of the wobbliness that Traps had in the mid game. Like, he had a big army, but he wasn't like in position a lot of the time. Granted, that's harder to do than it is to say, especially when most of your core army is Immortals. But he did a really good job there. And Jenner Greenwings, congratulations, a 3-1 victory here.
Yeah, surprisingly, Hero taking that win, especially after that long delay. But this is what Jenner needed. They needed a win to get back into the top half of the rankings table.
Yeah. Very important match for them there. CJ, just outclassed, man.
Yeah.
Now, RagnaroK, I gotta say, he's always had kind of a cheesy style, even in Legacy. I love the guy. I love casting his games. I want to see him succeed, but we saw it again here. It was a wonky double Nidus. And it's actually Lings in the second, Lurker Nidus push in the front, and Roach harass in the main. I think many players would have lost to that, but Trap was clearly equipped to handle that.
RagnaroK was still in the game, honestly. If he just kept that defense quite fine and then expanded and secured his 5th base, but unfortunately for him, couldn't get that 5th base up and had no resources to counteract the
It was kind of crazy to see that timing because you and I were talking about, going and taking out these different bases around the map, but then he just identified the moment that the Brood Lords were coming in there.
Yeah,
and he just came right in there, rained down the storms, had the Void Rays there to target the Broods. Really good game sense there. Congratulations there to the Junior Greenwings.
Yep, so they're tied up 2-2 with Africa Freaks and Samsung Galaxy. Africa Freaks and Samsung Galaxy are ahead on point difference. And as we can see there, the penalty point for CJ might bite them in the bum.
Yeah, unfortunately so. Well, guys, as you can see, as far as who's been the winningest, it will go to Innovation, Deer 4-1 after today.
Yep. So all these players, great players. Really surprised to see Keen there ahead of Alive though. So
yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. This was a lot of fun. GTR, thank you for coming in, casting with me.
Pleasure.